important thing is when a student comes into your class, for the student to go out of the class in the same position he came in, without being damaged, without being hurt, without anything happening. Because then it is a disgrace to us. Not because somebody is going to sue me, but because it is a disgrace to my teaching abilities, which my master gave me the power of. And when we took our vows in the sense is, the situation came is, even today in New York City, we don't charge a cent for teaching class, yoga. I mean, if I have to take a photograph or write an article about it, I'll take money. But yoga, we cannot. In certain classes, they've gathered up money and given it to me, and I said, no, I cannot take it. I'm sorry, I cannot accept it. But then I said, all right, I thought about it, and I said, all right, if you guys are feeling it so much, and I made a mistake, bring me some fruit. And next class I went home with bags of fruit like a Korean grocer. With tons. Then I had to specify, no, one apple or one orange, nothing more than that. I just cannot take it. So that is where we are. And that is how we function. And in New York, to find a person not getting money for something he's teaching, they think I'm a little weird. I say, well, whatever your thoughts are, but I cannot accept the money. So that is how we function. And to tell you again, nature, the lineage we come from, my teacher, my first teacher, that is my teachers, I don't know how many generations back, when he died, usually Hinduism, they cremate the remains. In our lineage, they bury them, and he was buried in the Padmasana position, that means the lotus or the meditative position, and a huge mud pot was built around him, and he was placed in that mud pot in the Padmasana position, and then it was filled to the top with ghee. You know what is ghee? Ghee is clarified butter. And then that pot is buried into the earth, and it was buried under certain specific conditions, but facing east, because we believe that the sun is the source of all energy. And for that master, the sun was the source of all his energy and knowledge. When the second teacher died, he was buried again within certain specifications, so many feet in front of the first master, but facing the first master, because for him, the source of knowledge was the first master. So like that, there are very strict things we follow. I enjoy myself. I like girls in mini skirts. I, like Chinese fried rice and pork and everything else. But basically, I follow certain things which I think are valuable and which are important to me, and I follow through on that. And if people say Buddhism says that you've got to be a vegetarian, that only came later, because if you look at it, Buddha's last meal was either a plate of pork or a plate of beef, plate of mutton, depending upon who wrote the book, because he was poisoned by that ironmonger. And even when he realized he was dying, he told the ironmonger, when I throw up, take that and bury it so that nobody else is disturbed by it. And where you are concerned, I forgive you. Same thing with Jesus Christ. When they killed him, what did he say? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. So there's a lot of, if you juggle the mind a little, the only advice I can say is don't be fanatical. Everybody has their own beliefs, their own likes, their own dislikes. I like to eat pork, some people don't. I'm staying with a friend of mine who's more or less vegetarian, and he's getting tired of the amount of chicken or meat I cook. But it depends upon each one's likes and dislikes. And so that is where we are. Any other question? Yes, sir. I'm sorry you had to wait a long time. Yeah.
You have traveled all these places.
Right.
Did you get any support? Is it through a support by a grant foundation?
No. Absolutely, the money I saved and I went. I used to do reasonably well when I was well. 1998, I had open heart surgery for a quadruple. Immediately after surgery, as they were wheeling me out of the theatre, I had a massive heart attack. I was very lucky that time, because when they used the defibrillators to bring me back, it didn't burst any of the fresh stitches in the heart, because the body jerks. And they put a metal ring in my mitral valve because it was out of balance, didn't shake the valve loose. So I was very lucky that I survived that. Then 2 years later, I lost the left side in a stroke. But I had a very, very efficient, virtually zero. I had a very efficient therapist who was just about 22 years old, but first 10 days I felt like killing it, believe it or not. It's 5 hours of therapy a day, and it can be terribly painful. But once the movements start coming back, you realize they are trying to help you, and then you work with them. And then now they have found bleeding in my aorta, which is the last place where you want to have bleeding, because it is the major artery coming out of the heart. It's pumping upwards. And I only have 2/3 of my heart. but the aorta feeds both the arms and the legs, the major veins there. But one good thing that has come out of it is I have a young Jewish doctor who is the love of my life. He's about 45, very decent. I go to him, it's like going to see a psychiatrist. You come out relieved, relaxed, etc. He's very decent. He's only a cardiologist. And initially he used to mumble and grumble about my yoga, and I used to tell him, no, we studied yoga and you must learn yoga and all. And then recently they did a nuclear medicine test. A nuclear medicine test means I am not allowed to get on the treadmill to do the stress test. Because, if I slip and fall there, I'm going to lose everything. So they make you sit in a very comfortable chair that I'm planning for a long time to steal that chair. It's the most comfortable chair I've sat with anywhere. Beautiful. But I think they want you to be comfortable in it, and they first give you one dosage of medicine, and then they bring the second dosage, which is the nuclear medicine, and it is very scary because they come in a lead shield, wearing lead shields, and the medicine was brought in a lead box. And you say, they are protecting themselves, but they are going to pump that into me, and it is scary. And for about 3 minutes you feel weird, you feel kind of completely spaced out. Then you come back and you're going back to normal, but it takes a long time to come back to normal because for about 1 month it is still circulating in the blood. And you actually carry a letter, because if you go through any metal detector, it will go off. So you carry that letter to say you have got nuclear atoms flowing all over your body, even through your brain. And you find that difficulty in really adjusting, even thinking properly, etc., etc. But the good thing is, when they did that test, within about a week they sent a written report to my doctor, but the next day itself, the doctor who was reading that graph called my doctor and said, listen, there is something funny, because there is blood seeping back into the damaged area of the heart. Now that is because of my yoga and meditation. There are certain yogic exercises I can do, certain yogic exercises I cannot do. So my doctor was now more inquisitive about yoga and started asking me 20 different questions. And finally I told him, I said, you come for one of our classes, you'll realize what it is. And yoga has its own benefits. The only sad part is, even the Chinese are very good at it. In 161 universities and colleges in America, there is Chinese medicinal courses. There is not one carrying Ayurveda. And we Indians are very good at not selling ourselves at all. We make that very sad mistake. So no knowledge is transferred. We want that knowledge to be put out. So from my group, we try to lecture about it, talk about it. Even to a group of 2, I will go and talk, because we want to put the knowledge out.